Cecilia, you're going to be
Hi.
joining us at IMEX with
I-
Evessio. It's the first time for Evessio.
It is indeed.
You're
Yes. Very
taking them to
exciting.
like that higher level and going straight for the big, the big.
Big
You're
gun.
going big.
Yes. We're hitting
Absolutely.
home.
You are. Well, we are excited to have you at the Tech to Grow Collective this year. Not because you're funky and funny and awesome, but because I think IMEX attendees really need to know about Evessio. So that's a given right now. I was just at an event yesterday and they had an award ceremony, and their event manager, who was responsible for the award ceremony, had this look on her face because it was all done on Excel. And I'm like, wonder who I should introduce her to. But let's step back for a second, because this whole Excel, and
Mhm.
Google Sheets and the way our event profs do things, this is very telling. Like, we're almost in 2025, like,
Yeah.
right? And we're still dealing with, this is the status quo. This is how we've done it. And the whole competition is really against oneself when it comes
Yeah.
to event organizations, when it comes to, labor intensive processes, all of that. Like, I think the biggest thing is, how do I go and I change the leadership perception that we need to do better for our stakeholders? So how do you start that conversation when someone comes and says, here's my Excel sheet, this is how I do things? Like, don't you love the color codes, and the 200 tabs? Come on, how can you not?
Well, don't get me wrong. I love a color coding in a spreadsheet, but I think it's a very common conversation, and there's only so far that the spreadsheets and the job forms and the Google forms is going to be able to take any event, right? And I'm not only talking about awards. There's limitations to it. We talk about people being scared of AI, but we still use spreadsheets. The imbalance is so vast sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think our recommendation in general to anyone who approaches us to speak about how they can elevate their awards programs is look at the different stakeholders, right? There's efficiencies that can be done with the organizers. But that's not the only thing that's important. It's important to look at what provides efficiencies for your entrants, i.e. the end user, but what also provides efficiencies for your judges. They're equally as important in any program like this, because they are the one who adds kudos to your celebration or awards program. But then I believe there's another stakeholder, and that's the one who analyzes the results of the awards program. That doesn't need to be the organizer itself, right? It could be the board. It could be, a management committee,
Committee.
or, or just the boss, who's not involved in any of those three other stakeholders' way, but they will look at the results. So I always try and identify how it's not only looking at how can we help the organizer, but how can we help all these other people that provides a full circle efficiency that then supports long-term growth for that program or the brand in general.
Yeah, so let's talk about growth, because a lot of people, they don't necessarily look at a celebration or, a program like awards, or even within an incentive program, like how does growth play or impact, the organization brand, or how does it actually maybe be tied into a bigger cause of some kind? And so talk about like the growth aspect of it. How do we change that? You need to invest on the back end and in the strategy of an award program because of growth.
Yeah. And there's obviously, people generally think about growth being revenue driven, but that's not the case. We have clients who focuses on the awards program adding to their overall brand recognition growth, like becoming an industry leader within their field, And that awards program powers that because of the entrance and the results it's getting and the exposure it gets, not only them, but all the entrants, all the shortlist people, all the winners, because if they are there and they're talking about it, that adds further exposure. So we provide obviously tools and services that supports that. But even for an internal celebration program, if there's, feedback, say it's an internal HR, award. If you provide feedback to your entrants afterwards to say, this is where you scored, this is where the winners scored, or this is the feedback the judges gave on your entry form, in terms of how you responded to the questions, that adds an element of trust and transparency, which means that they believe in this program, they believe in the company they work with because they're being transparent and they're giving me constructive feedback on what I'm doing. That's going to add a value that's not immediately sort of measurable, but it's incredibly important. And that's not something that you can do via a Google sheet. It just doesn't give you those metrics or those capabilities of doing so. Or it's going to take you days, if not weeks, if not months, to analyze that information and put it together in a format that's actually going to be valuable. Yeah. So again, there's so many different aspects to it, but that's where we help our clients, not only by providing a product, but by using our expertise and our services to evaluate that process and evaluate the metrics and how they can succeed in terms of what's important for them to achieve.
And I find it extremely, I can put myself in, a planner's shoes, or even a marketer's shoes, and say, putting an awards like reception together is horrible. It has so many facets to it, and it's like, it takes a mind and a life of its own. Why the hell should I leave anything to chance on the back end of it? Like, why not have it where it's streamlined enough where I only have to handle the logistics of it, because that will take up so much brainwidth. So work with something that is intuitive. Work with something that's going to help you look really, really great on the back end, as well as a website, etc. And then you can deal with the show and all the nuances of the show.
It comes down to the point, which is being discussed a lot in our industry right now, is let us focus on what we do best. Like the event organizers, let them focus on the creative event itself. Let's not bog them down with all the admin things that they need to do. And, as you said, to sell the tickets, to manage the table plan, to manage the entry, that should be easy. The rest, it should be like, how am I going to add wow elements to my event to make it an incredible experience that people are going to walk away from and be like, I need to be there next year. And so I guess in one way, that's what we're trying to take away from them. Let's just give you efficient ways of doing what you do best, so you don't need to worry about all the other things.
There's points where awards programs are the biggest sponsor ticket. And for organizations, that's the revenue that comes into an organization. And if it looks really great and it brings in, that brand extension and the credibility, like you were talking about, and it's an opportunity for sponsors to say, this is the event I want to be part of, from a lead gen brand awareness standpoint. It's not only their logo on it, it's truly where they shine, right? And I think this is a point where right now sponsors are saying, am I spending the right money or not?
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, some people also see awards programs as that event, that one evening a year, which we firmly believe it should not be about. It should be a 365-day process that continuously evolves. Like, if you were a winner, you should be promoted and showcased for the next year, to really showcase the amazing work that you did and the reason why you won an award. Same goes with the sponsors. You know, they're doing incredible work to ensure that these awards take place. So they should be showcased and be provided value 365 days a year. And, you know, that can be done if you use the right tools that are also easy. And they will keep on coming back. They will keep on spending more money. And it adds value for everyone.
Well, I'm excited that you're with us at IMEX. I'm excited you're with us at the Tech to Grow Collective at C4859. And you're also going to be taking the stage, tech stage. I am one that I love celebration, not because of the confetti guns or like whatever, but, you know, I also think that organizations should truly have some sort of celebration kudos board that is ongoing within their organization, not have it be like a Oscars Academy type of an award, but it's something that's ongoing, and to celebrate their unsung heroes and to celebrate their staff. So they should have Evessio in every single organization. That's my take. But we'll discuss that in person in Vegas. So
yes.
But thank you for this. And
thank
we
you,
will
Dahlia.
see you in Vegas.
See you in Vegas. Woohoo! Bye.